Crystal of Atlan has announced that they're releasing on May 28th this year. One of the big issues it has on the global attention is the stamina system. I noticed on every social media and review videos of Crystal of Atlan left with the comments of the stamina system being bad, when we're trying to actually learn, and etc. I want to clarify in this video that whether if the stamina system is good or bad, we're gonna lay out how it works, what type of content is needed for, and I'll let you decide whether it's good or bad. Because to me, after playing on the CN server for about almost a month now, doesn't really bother me. After that, we'll dive deeper into what kind of other contents you can do outside of the stamina based one. The stamina system in this game is the little icon over here split between a green one and an orange one. The green one has a total of 120 and it resets at 6 AM. The same goes for the orange one. You can also recover the stamina using some sort of recharge item which you can get from event using Prismadium, which is the F2P currency of the game that can buy premium outfit and stuff like that. Or you can use Opal, which is the currency you can get by topping up in the game. The stamina system can be recharged by using some sort of items. Even if you top up, it seems to be being capped as well, so even if you want to will in this game on the stamina, you'll be capped eventually. And if anything, I think there's really no reason, even if you like top up enough, you just got more opportunity to loot for more loot. Unless you're a person with great passive income, then go ahead, otherwise I don't recommend doing this. Let's talk a little bit more about the green battery. It's also known as the character lock stamina. If you have 5 characters, that means you have more stamina to grind for higher grade items. The orange one, however, is the account-based energy. And after depleting the green one, it's gonna start consuming the orange one. And the orange one has a total of what you're seeing on the screen, about 900 plus, right? So in this game, you're gonna be doing 2 daily dungeons most of the time. The one is the Abyss, and the one is this one, what you're seeing on the screen, which is going to have a boss's rotation daily. What you're seeing now on the screen is what I'm having today, so tomorrow might be a different kind of boss, but all of these bosses are the one you fought throughout the story. So if you click on either of this dungeon run, you'll see a detail where you can navigate between a character stamina drops and account stamina drops, so we can confirm that the character based one is more important and useful than the orange one. That begs the next question. So I can grind for better equipment when I'm dry out on the green battery. You can still use the orange battery to farm for sigils for your equipment, but we'll get to that with the equipment guide. But for now, you just need to know that you're gonna need a lot of this as well. And this comes by pretty rare because I've been playing for almost 1 month now and I got like only 2. You can also farm for dungeon tickets, and the most important thing in this game, the gold, which is the in-game currency. You're gonna be needing this a lot because golds are needed for enhancement, equipment enhancement, upgrades, pet leveling up, and a lot more stuff. But we're gonna go through it at some other time. But the thing to note is that F2P players can also sell the gold on the auction shop where the whales can buy it with what you call that opal, and then but the seller will be only receiving prismadium instead. You can also sell the sigils on the auction for insane amount of gold, so yeah, not so bad, right? Because global is going to be new and it will feel difficult at first, but in the CN, even an F2P like me can just one shot. But if that's upset you because you're still being limited to grind like the equipment full set and stuff like that, you can go ahead and craft them, or sometimes at certain event or celebration, they do hand out you a box and eventually you just get one of the latest equipment and stuff like that. That only happens rarely and you can only do it for your main character and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely sure about this. But for now, yes, you do need to grind and you're being capped, but look at the bright side over here. So each run consumes about 5 energy bar. Even with one-shotting, I mean, eventually things are going to get boring. So there is this multiplier or markiplier. So you multiply it by using this item where you get through events or battle pass or monthly pass, or you can even craft them, and they can, what they actually do is that they multiply the rewards and the drop, but they also consume large amount of how much you want it to be multiplied. One other thing I forgot to mention earlier in this video is that you also need stamina to do the main story. And I have played almost 7 classes by now, and I can tell you it doesn't even cost that much. And if that bothers you, the story mode can be clear with the orange battery as well. Even in the elite mode, why would you go back to the story mode, you ask? Why? It's actually pretty easy, but is there a reason to go back to story mode? In case if you're farming for certain sigils that gives critical rate damage or etc. Some other buff that's important for you based on your own personal build. At one point of the game, the daily will feel like a chore, and this happens to exact every other game, or at least 90% of the game. Let me know if there's any game that doesn't get bored with their daily. I mean, even FF14, you're tasked with helping like new players as well, the sprouts, right? So we're not here to talk about that. To note as well, if you're tired or sometimes you forgot to log in or away, or per se you're just way too busy to log in, unused character energy from the day converts into reserve energy the next day, but it functions a little bit differently. I don't know, because it doesn't -5. It actually eats up more. There's probably an equation for that, but I'm not trying to guess because I can't even finish the orange battery as of now. I hope this satisfies some people, because honestly, it's going to take hours for you to burn out all this stamina system, and eventually you're gonna do daily when you feel like doing. At least for me, because I think, yeah, at least for me, right? Because the only thing that's way more important than equipment in this game is the goal, where whale's gonna need a lot for enhancement and stuff like that. So what are other things you can do outside the dailies and stuff? What other game features, right? Of course, there is the PvP part. It's part of the end game content, but I want to save that for another video, because I want to talk about that specifically and receive targeted comment regarding the PvP of the game. So let's jump down to what other contents you can do besides the daily, the stories, and PvP. So in my opinion, Crystal of Atlan is honestly a game focused on having fun with its combat. This is what the devs state in the letters in the social media of the global version. I think the game's stamina system is misunderstood. It's not really even important, right? You play Crystal of Atlan, it's like you play Devil May Cry or FF16. You play it for the combat. Eventually, you'll hit a content wall and you'll just wait for the upcoming content. You could say it's one of the law by Chinese government to limit players from gaming, which is still stupid because you can still carry people and stuff like that. I think there's flaws in a lot of games in China with this kind of mentality. It didn't work. Anyways, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Yes, it does limit you from grinding equipment or gold, but there are other ways to earn them as well if you think hard enough. Every game will reach an end game stagnation content until the next week, right? Or on the next content. Every MMO, as far as I'm concerned, take years to build up longer content to retain players. Some players like to play it every day. Some players like to come back occasionally. I personally played Cabal Online for like 9 years, Maple Story for 3 years, and some other MMOs, but I'm not gonna bring it down here. Yeah, but what's the point of doing daily or playing with people if they just one-shot the run for fun? Every game has that kind of people. I'm okay, the game's not perfect, but every game has that kind of people. You could argue that, you know, FF14 doesn't have that, but in Genshin Impact, Wuthering Wave, or whatever game, I think like a lot of games, there will always be people one-shotting it because they find it fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem with Global, which I can see, is that why this is misunderstood, at least at my perspective, is what I'm having hypothesis, right? Because I'm new to CN, and people are just carrying me. Maybe I assume that the harder contents are harder because I'm not there yet. I know I'm at max level, but my equipments are not strong enough yet. So that could be one of the reasons. But if there's anything I can guarantee you, Crystal of Atlan has amazing combat. So aside from that, what other contents we're gonna do is raid, right? Even the raid gives you daily drops. You can choose to do it solo, 4-man person, 8-man person. But I recommend doing the 8-person because you're gonna be getting more materials out of it. Of course, in my CNS experience, the first raid is going to be battle chest, and it's just simply one-shot it to the next wrestle, and then the mechanic activate, and then we all do the mechanic. The problem with the raid is also you're being limited daily, right? Of course, there's this entire description, but you're being limited. The point is you're being limited to grind. Of course, by doing more, you get this little blueprint where you bring it to the blacksmith and you can craft certain weapons or equipment. But the key is, yeah, it's pretty bad. One thing I cannot confirm from the raid is that whether the sigils is being logged or not. If I can keep farming the sigils, then I wouldn't mind. If there's any CN players out there that can let us know in the comment section below, your feedback will be very valuable. Of course, entering the dungeon, like I mentioned, this one doesn't consume battery system. Rather, you need tickets, and you can either farm the tickets using your battery, or you can buy it from the auction shop. There are currently numbers of dungeons in the CN version, and I really have a lot of fun playing them. They have some sort of mechanics with the boss. They're not all lazy. Of course, I don't think this one-shot is possible with the latest content. I think as I kept going with the higher difficulty of the raid, the content gets harder, and I rarely see a whale one-shot them. That's something I can confirm with you. But there is also one problem, like because okay, one thing great about the game is because every time before you can do it with co-op feature, you have to clear the dungeon through solo experience, which is the great thing about this game, because you get to understand the mechanic and stuff, and eventually you play with Will, they just kind of one-shot it and stuff like that. Oh yeah, one thing I have to mention is that not every raid, like, you're not limited. Like for example, battle chest is limited. This run is limited to 1 day per day. This run is limited to 1 day per day. The drop, what I'm talking about is the drop. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Sorry for the poor explanation as well. Aside from dungeon and daily, you will be clearing quests, and there really isn't a lot of quests in this game. I actually prefer it because this is suitable for someone like me, because if I try to play Final Fantasy 14 or every other MMO that has way too many quests on the map interface, it stresses me out. So I think I like the way Crystal of Atlan is doing. To me, in my opinion, I just go in for Crystal of Atlan, try some combos, play some different classes. This is how I navigate and play the game. Okay, I've seen a lot of players also saying that, oh, the character creation, gender lock, element lock doesn't really bother me, really. I talked about it in my previous video, but anyway, we're getting off topic here. So Crystal of Atlan is a game that the dev mentioned themselves, focusing on pure combat, combo system, aerial combo, and one-shotting stuff. But as far as it goes, it happens in old school MMO as well. I'm pretty sure for you, right? You also know it's a thing. I talked about the game mode from previous content, but re-mentioning it since I was sick at that time and my pronouns wasn't really accurate. So there's this dungeon floor climber where you can actually climb dungeons. There is leaderboard, but keep in mind that comparison is the thief of joy, so keep that in mind in this entire game, really. You can go through this dungeon floor climbing where waves of enemies are coming, and some mobs start having hyper armor where it becomes really annoying. You can also do this with co-op, but reaching a certain level, eventually you can't do it co-op. There's also the daily gold grind, but sometimes it rotates between different items to grind for. So this is something that you do every day, because gold is also one of the most important currency. And my favorite mode in this game is the roguelike mode. I don't know if you play Entropy Effect or Dead Cell, because these are the two games that I've been playing lately or recently. But because Crystal of Atlan stood out or praised for its combat and its aerial combat, it is suited for a roguelike mode, and it is what it's needed. As far as the beta goes in every other content creator's footage, I do not see that the roguelike mode is being added, but this is what the game really needed, so hear me out. The roguelike mode is a mandatory to clear, because it also gives you currency that are important for you to advance in your journey, and you're going to need to clear them because they're going to be resetted in 12 weeks time. What's great about this game mode is that it's called the Hall of Illusion based on Google Translate, and your equipment enhancements are capped or per se by a content creator. This is saying that it limits your it cap or something like that. I don't know, but the videos is in the link description if you want to try it out. If you understand Chinese, go ahead. So it's because of that. So like I said, the roguelike mode caps excessive stats, so you see everything on the screen of how a little roguelike features are: collecting buff, climbing different stairs. You can do with this co-op as well, and you can also upgrade your base stat and etc. I really love this game mode because weaker mobs are now harder to kill, making it quite annoying. And if that's what the dev's aim is, they actually nail it. And there are some that actually just explode in your face, cutting a lot of HP, leech onto you, or even hyper armor on some bosses, which is making it very hard to kill. Like I said, the beauty of this is that they also have co-op mode. While there are PvE tournament with prize pool, I wish the rogue mode gets it on the global version, because I think people will love this mode more than PvP. Then again, we can dream, but I guess F2P can just go back to PvP. That just about covers what are the battery system in this game, what are the outside content aside from that, and so forth. There is this little new one, but I don't think we're getting it immediately, and I just recently got into it and still trying to experience it with even more bosses to fight in solo content. It's actually quite fun. Yes, making alternative account is also important, like I mentioned in my earlier video, my last video, and this will increase your account overall stats. No, it's not a gacha game, and yes, F2P can grind skin for free, and yes, the game is releasing on 28 May, reminder again. On my next video, I will be discussing about the PvP of the game, as I want to see comments focusing on the PvP topic specifically from you guys, because it pins my interest whether this game can go far or not. As far as everyone else, is learning about Crystal of Atlan still. I don't know everything. I probably got a few points wrong. You can roast me in the comment if I do. This is as much as I know, and I'm continuing to learn more, so hopefully you're looking forward to my upcoming videos. My name is Zackie, and it's just a gaming channel.